up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative, a channel where I talk about all of my adventures in reading. Today's adventures is going to take us down the horror, spooky road. Actually, it's more of a genre blend. It has science fiction elements. It has fantasy elements. Predominantly horror would be the main one. I would say it's very dark. There is a whole list of content warnings, which I will put a link to the author's website below that has all of those warnings. They're also included on the back of the book. They're included in the book description. But let me tell you what I read. It's the latest book by PD Alleva called Jigglyspot and the Zero Intellect. It will be published on October 31st. How I actually heard about this one is from the author himself. I had already previously accepted another book to read and review by the author. I did prioritize the arc for this one so I could read it and review it before it came out. I'm also kind of glad I read them in this order because come to find out, there's a character who's alluded to. We meet them very briefly, very mysterious. There's a lot of suspense around that character. And when I got to the end, there was a page that said, hey, if you want to know more about who this character is, read my other novel, Gollum. And I was so excited because I knew I already had this one on my list to read and review, so I am very excited. So what was it that made me say yes to the author? Well, I will say that this cover did absolutely factor into it. The front of it says carnivals, cannibals, and clowns. That was a huge factor. Honestly, it was the first sentence of the book description. I'm not going to read the whole description. I will have a link to it below if you want to read it in full, but it was the very first sentence. Meet Jigglyspot, a 5-foot-tall, half-human, half-warlock carnival clown who spends his free time moonlighting as a drug-dealing pimp and lackey for demonic entities who prey on the weak and vulnerable, casting their dark shadow across humanity through manipulation and fear. That sold me. I actually thought that this was going to be a humorous book. Oh, no, no, no. I'll draw your attention back to the cover of said clown who's holding a cane and a scalpel. He's a serial killer. Yeah, while there were a few things that happened or things said by characters that made me chuckle, this was not a humorous book at all. It was very dark, but it was very good. Holding it up here, I don't know if you can see, I've got tabs in here. I don't usually do that with horror novels. Some of these tabs are in fact for quotes. There are other things that I found tab worthy here, such as any information about warlocks, because from what I understood, warlocks were not from Earth. They were from somewhere else, but there are hybrids, half human, half warlock, which is who our main character Jigglyspot was. He was half human, half warlock. So I was very interested in learning more about that. In the beginning, I was tabbing anything to do with the mop bucket murders, which is how we meet Jigglyspot. We also meet another important character, FBI John Mills, who has been on this mop bucket case for 20 years trying to hunt down who is behind him. The broad generalized summary of what Jigglyspot and the Zero Intellect is about. Jigglyspot has been tasked with being the event coordinator for the 2019 summer solstice. Now you're thinking, okay, a clown throwing a party. Good deal. No. This is a celebration in which humans and demons attend. This event takes place in the Cannibal Cafe. I'm sure you all can put two and two together. The Cannibal Cafe. Demons are there, humans. What do you think is on the menu? And for those of you who are Austin Powers fans, it is the other white meat. While I say that's the broad generalization, that is the central thread. That is where everything culminates, comes together, and just goes buck wild sideways. There are so many other little threads that are woven together to that one main thread. That's where it really shines. There are so many characters, but the author makes them so unique. It seems in any story I've read where there's demons, where they're trying to manipulate humans, they go after the vulnerable ones, the ones that have hit rock bottom but haven't been able to pull themselves up. So all of our main characters are coming from different places, places of grief, trauma, suffering. I mean, y'all, there is some serious stuff that's happening here. And the situations that these people are in is what makes their storyline so unique. And the author really gets you in there. You're feeling their grief. You're feeling their trauma, what they have experienced. And some of it I've been through. Some of it someone I know has been through it. So the author does a great job of making you invested in these people. I am going to be completely honest and say I really enjoyed some of the villains in this book. I loved some of the... I won't get into that. That's a spoiler. I don't want to say. But there's this one character that I felt really sorry for, and then they flipped and became something else, and I was like, heck yeah, get them. And then I was like, oh, I am so sorry. I cheered for you because you are bad. I would love to know more about these warlocks, which in this one, they're all part of this carnival, so they're all different clowns, and oh man, they were so creepy. But they just had this found family element that I found alluring. For me, if the plot is my top ranked element, and then right under that I have characters and atmosphere, that means the writing style is one that I loved. I cannot wait to read more by P.D. Alleva. I'm so glad I have Gollum here to read and get to. I'm also excited to see at the end of this one, there's going to be more of this world concerning Jigglyspot. I don't know if it's going to be a series or just another standalone that takes place after this one, but I am excited. Its intrigue had me where I just could not put this one down. I'm not somebody who sits still for hours and reads. I'm somebody that likes to sit around and read 2 or 3 chapters, get up and go do something, and come back and read 2 or 3 more chapters. But this book, every time I sat down and picked it up, I did not want to put it back down. I wanted to sit still as long as possible and read it. When I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about it, just trying to figure out where it was going to go next, because it is so unpredictable. This book was so big, and I know you're looking at it and going, that's a chunker. Yeah, it's 560 pages, but it reads so fast. It could have been 300 more pages, and I would have absolutely loved it, had zero complaints about it, because the author just writes it so well. The characters were so interesting. So Jigglyspot and the Zero Intellect, I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. I will be reading more from this author and reviewing them here on the channel. I do believe I saw that this one was going to be included in the Kindle Unlimited subscription. I did not see where there is going to be an audiobook, so if you're an audiobook only listener, I don't see one out there yet. If one ever comes available, I'll definitely put that in an update in the future on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you give this one a shot. It was worth it in my opinion, and I for one have become a new fan of author P.D. Alleva. Again, all the information you're going to need is in the description box below. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one.